Okay, the final show before deadline. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if the title is going to be what I'm thinking now because I usually, when I film and then I review what I've seen to see if the video worked, I usually come up with the title then, or sometimes I just have the title right there on the spot before I film. But this time, I'm kind of on the fence of which one would be the best because I know people will not agree with me when I say this right now. This show is better than the show before Survivor Series. It just is. I'm not telling you that this is the most perfect show ever made by WWE or NXT 3.0. 3.0. This is 3.0. Not 1, not 2. This is 3.0. I'm not telling you it is. But I gotta say this. The Iron Survivor Challenge build is pretty good. What they're setting up for the men's breakout tournament, I'm not going to cover it right now because they just showed 5 guys. Don't know who they are, don't remember them, but I'm going to wait until they show them more in vignettes before I even have my feelings about it. We got something going for Chase U. We got something that's going on with Dragunov and Baron Corbin, which has been very well built. This show feels way more developed than what we got from Survivor Series. I'm sorry. If you do not agree with me, fine. And I'm not telling you that this is better booking than WWE's ever had. It's not. It's basic booking. This is what I got to make very clear before I get started with this. What we're getting here from Shawn Michaels, without that much influence from if it's Vince, if it's Steph, if it's Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, if it's from Bruce Pritchard, I don't care who it is. Ari Emanuel, Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, Vince McMahon himself, Stephanie McMahon. If the majority of it is done by Shawn Michaels and his team that he's constructed, this has been one of the best builds that I've seen from NXT in a while going into a pay-per-view. Doesn't mean the pay-per-view will be great. It's just one of the best builds I've seen. And honestly, comparing it to Survivor Series, no matter what anyone says, and I know many people still think Survivor Series was incredible. If there had not been any Randy Orton, and there had not been any CM Punk, what do you think you would have gotten? And I'm saying this right now to anyone. If they go on the JD stream or Alex's stream, ask them if there was no Randy Orton, and if there was no incredible finagling of getting CM Punk there, what do you really got? You had a okay to good 2 War Game matches. And mostly good matches there. It was a B+ show. It was not A. The only reason was A, that Randy was there and CM Punk was there. That's it. They brought them in at the last minute. That's why those shows are so good. But when you see this as traditional booking, it's better developed. It's better booked. It's more interesting. It will give you more hyping for the pay-per-view if you've been watching NXT long enough to see the build going into deadline. And I'm not telling you this is great booking. Guys, I'm not telling you that this booking is that incredible. It's not. It's basic. Okay, the first match. That is the last chance match for the women going into the Iron Survivor Challenge. And Kiana James, I believe, was in there. Thea Hale, Roxanne Perez, and Fallon Henley. All the women in one point or another has been built. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The only one there that should not have won, and it was Fallon Henley. I'm not against her. But she's the most underdeveloped woman there. I'm sorry. Yes, she's worked with Kiana James multiple times over the last year and a half. Yes, to near 2. She has worked with her. She has worked with Briggs and Jensen. Yes. But her by herself just isn't that well developed. And seeing that she was the one who won instead of Kiana James does piss me off quite a lot. I'm sorry. When it comes to Roxanne Perez, I don't want to see her in the main title scene. She should have already moved to the main roster already. When it comes to Thea Hale, she's not ready yet. But I just don't get it. I don't understand why they pushed her in there except to just have a body in the Iron Survivor Challenge. That is the only reason she's there. And that's sad. Because as a breakout star, it would be really good for her. And I know this is not the breakout tournament. This is Iron Survivor Challenge trying to get a shot at Valkyria's, well, it's for her title, but I would have liked to have Kiana James there. Or Thea Hale. That would go more with the Chase U thing again. I just feel like Henley is just a body. She's just there to fill in a spot. Not that she really deserves a spot. They just needed someone there. And they didn't want to hurt Kiana James and Roxanne Perez's feud. And Thea Hale, she currently working with Chase U, which I'll get to next. I'm doing that now. I just feel like it would have been more for her, because that's what I think she deserved. Now let's do the Chase U bit. Guys, this story of Andre Chase and Chase U, I know not everyone likes it, but honestly, I think it's been well developed. When was the last time you saw that trying to promote a university style type of storyline where now the guy owes tons of money because he gambled it, and then when the gamble debts became too great, he had to start spending funds that was from Chase University, and now once the Don and Underboss found out, because guess what, the third party was the Don and Underboss, they got the money from him and his family. This is what we got, and he's saying to his own students, look, it's my fault, I spent the money, I have to fix this. And then they're asking, so how can we help? Can we do a cookie drive? Can we do car wash? Can you maybe advise people how not to mess up their funds? And he says, no, it's not going to work that way. I owe too much. And once it was JC asked, how much money do you owe? As well as Thea. He said, I owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now the university is on sanction. It's sanctioned. We were not getting any more funds. Anyone who came after the incident, your university funds, that means your TAP and Pell, and part of FEC, when is it? Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I had to pay my student loans back. I did. I had to pay student loans with almost no money. But I did manage to do it. And I got an AOS degree in computer repair, which I don't use. But, honestly, when you see the story, it's not that bad. It's not. And I want to see how far they're going to go with this. It's interesting. Now, the next match. We got... But, I mean, what is going on with Paxton? I'm like... Paxley. Sorry, not Paxton. Paxley. I have no idea what the hell's going on. What character is she playing? Because she was acting like a stalker to Valkyria, coming and touching her hair and stuff once a Lola Vice was messing with a Valkyria. I mean, I can understand why she did it with Elektra Lopez by her side. It makes perfect sense. She's got a contract. She can cash in anytime she wants. But then you got Paxley. I'm going like, what is her character? Is it a Mickie James style of character where she's getting all crazed and horny? I don't know. It looks like it because when you see the match between Vice and Paxley, I think it's Paxley. It's a strange, screwed up match where you see her acting very weird and methodical to a certain extent, but really almost, how can I say it? It's like a crazy person who's horny out of their mind. And they want to just screw with you because they want to tease you before they decide they want to do something with somebody. And just rip you apart while they're doing it. That's the way she was acting. And she lost the match. I'm not surprised. She lost the match. But then she's messing with her hair. She's acting all horny. And acting all, oh, I lost and I'm going to enjoy myself when I get my ass. That I'm going to grab. That's the way she was acting. Now, I don't know if that's going to get over, but that's what we got. Next. Mixed tag. Alpha Academy versus Metaphor. Now, what was the best part of that match? 2. 1, Otis acting horny, going to a Lash Legends. I don't know if they're actually in real life relationship. I think they're just friends. But the way he's acting is like, I'm going to eat that ass. But that's one of them. It's funny. But the second, and this is when I got to say this about Lash Legends. I am not a Lash Legends fan. I'm just not. I'm not that I hate her. I'm just not a fan of her. I just don't believe her style goes with her physical character. Being the way she is doesn't really fit. So when you see the match, in the very opening, when they do the lights in the back, when they're going to come to the ring, you know what she reminded me of? An Amazon. Think about it for just a moment. If you can't see what she looks like, and you look at her silhouette, she reminds you of Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman was that size. She was not a small woman. In the comics, Wonder Woman was literally 6 feet easily. She was not a small woman. She was just as big as any man. That's at least 6 foot and maybe over. So, well, in most comics, not all comics, but most, that has ever been written about her. And just in case anyone says, you don't understand anything about women and the Amazon crap, and it said, don't forget, that was written by a man. If anybody thinks men do not understand women, a man wrote Wonder Woman for his daughter because he wanted his daughter to have a superhero of her own. That shows you how men care for women. And I've always respected women. I thought that Lash Legends, before you could see her face and her body, she looked like Wonder Woman. Which I didn't have a problem with. I actually thought that was a good look for her. But she ain't Wonder Woman. She's not an Amazon. And her character just doesn't appeal. But I can tell you, when she picked up Otis and slammed his ass, and remember, Lash Legends is a former basketball player. She's not small. She used to play in the WNBA. She's not, I believe she was in the WNBA. I don't think she played football. I think she played basketball. And honestly, she's a strong-ass woman. To be able to lift up a 330-pound Otis off his feet, grab his ass, and slam it, that's something you cannot teach. She has to be capable of doing that, and she did it. And then once you see Maxine Dupree start nailing her, I don't buy none of it. And that's one of the problems that I see with Lash Legends. That she should be a lot more tougher against Maxine Dupree after she just did that to Otis. But in the end, Alpha Academy won. And it was, let me give it to you like this. Are we going to see another Heritage Cup match between Chad Gable and Nolan Dar since he got him tapped out? Maybe. I don't know. Next. Axiom versus a Nathan Frazier. Now, I know I'm kind of skipping ahead because all of the Iron Survivor Challenge wrestlers were in the ring with Brian Saxton, and they had their talk before their fight. But I want to say this one first, because as much as I believe these guys got great chemistry, but I really didn't want to see them in the ring again. Because it's like they don't have anything for Nathan Frazier or Axiom to do. So since they had the best of 3, they just stuck them back together because essentially they really have nothing for them to do right now. They're at the end of the year and no new storylines are going to be developed until after January for hopefully both of them. But in this situation, we got about a minute or two, maybe 4 minutes of a match, and then all the women came out fighting. Now, this is when we have for the women in the the Iron Survivor Challenge match. When we see this, let's make this clear. When they all were allowed to talk, who was the best talker of the bunch? And it's shocking who I'm about to say. Because, yes, Tiffany Stratton sounded okay. It was, Davenport was all right. But the person who sounded the best was Fallon Henley. Was the most fluid out of all of them. She sounded the most fluid. She sounded the most to the point. She sounded the best. Now, that doesn't take anything away from what I said earlier, that she has not been developed much lately. So seeing her in that match feels like she's just an extra body. But I'm not taking anything away from her being able to talk. Hell, I'm going to say this about Lash Legends. When it comes to Lash, she has an annoying voice. On purpose. which works great for her character. But to me, the character still sucks because I just don't buy her in this diva type of attitude. I just don't. I don't feel it. I mean, it would have been better if Kiana Jordan would have done that type of character, or maybe Jackson, but she has a broken wrist, so she can't really do anything right now. But Last Legends feels like she should have a different character. I'm just being honest here. Really, I'm being honest. She feels like she should be someone different. But I'm not taking anything away that she is pushing, trying her best to make that character work. And then they had to fight. It's alright. Now, we have to get this done. This is the sad part of the entire show because, guys, I'm sorry. I've seen Desmond Xavier since Impact Wrestling around 2016, maybe 17. I can't remember when I first saw him. I think it was either 16 or 17 when he was first joined Impact Wrestling. He was there for a while, then he left and gone to NXT. When he joined the Rascals, when he's working with Vince and he's working with Trey, I always felt Desmond Xavier was something special. It wasn't just, I love high-flying wrestlers. It's not that. He just has something special about him. Whenever he talked, when he was serious, it worked. Because he could get it over. And since he's gone to NXT, even though he still does the same style of wrestling, well, he did. I could honestly buy it because he has charisma. To a certain extent. He's not great in charisma, but he does have charisma. His talking skills are damn good. He is a good talker. Can he lead a match? No. Let's make this clear. He's a high-flying wrestler that is damn good in his position. But as a ring general, he just isn't. He just is not a ring general. But can he work a match? Yes, he can. He's that good of a high-flying wrestler. But now that's come to bite him in the ass because now he comes to the ring with a crutch. And as a guy who's walking with a cane, that don't fill me with a lot of confidence. He comes out, he talks about how good he is and how much he wanted to be a Deadline, but he can't. He made it very clear that I am the best in this damn ring. And all of you, and he's telling the fans, all of you gave me the strength to go beyond what I ever could imagine. But that's not enough anymore, particularly that I've lost a feeling in my legs and I'm in excruciating pain. And the only way to solve it? Surgery. He's got to have back surgery. He's going to be out for at least maybe a year. He said 8 months to near a year. It's going to be at least maybe a year. Unless he really works hard and maybe he talks to Randy Orton. Because what might happen, this is what I believe, because he can't wrestle. His back is messed up. But Randy Orton just came back from double fusion to his back. Now, there's going to be wrestlers that's going to say, dude, see if Randy will talk to you. Talk to Randy. He just came back. Because you got to have back surgery. See if he can help you. See if he can tell you what will be good. I'm sure someone had to talk to Randy and probably he met him. And I'm hoping either he called him or he met him in person and said, don't worry, it'll be all right. This is what's going to happen. This is what I went through. If you got to go to a doctor, check with this doctor first before you do this doctor. See what I've done. That's what wrestlers will do for each other. And Randy has come back before this and he said, I want to get back. So I'm hoping that he will talk to Wesley about this. I'm hoping and begging that Randy will talk to him. And if he's already talking to a back surgeon, maybe he'll get a better back surgeon if he talks to Randy Orton, if he can afford it. Because remember, these guys got to pay for it themselves. And hopefully he's got enough money to pay for it. It's going to be a long process. But he's out. Then Dom comes out saying, well, you're out. I'm free. And he says, no, you're not free. Because you're still going to be in a match. I can't be in it, but someone's going to talk to you about it. And it's Ray. Ray's back. At least back enough that he can walk on his leg. And now he says a person that's going to be going after the title, guess who? The Future. The one that he pretty much has promoted and he has endorsed in this Dragon Lee. So Wesley is out, Dragon Lee is in. Gotta say this. Am I happy to see Dragon Lee in that position? No. To be honest, no. I'd rather see someone else in that position because Dragon Lee is already, Dragon Lee is already being promoted on the main roster. I'd rather see him focus on the main roster for a little while before having to come back to NXT and help out there. I truly do believe that they could have used Carlito in this position. Why not? Why not Carlito be the one to deal with Dom? If Carlito, and this is still a question, we don't know what happened with Carlito. Either there was some type of problem with him, or he's hurt, or they just didn't want to use him. One of those three. If he's able to work, I would rather see Carlito in that position, because if they're not going to use him on the main roster much, I want to see Carlito do something. And I wouldn't mind to see Carlito in NXT. That's just me. Finally, let's see here. Final match. The men's last chance. Mello, Eddie Thorpe, Tyler Bates, and Joe Coffey. Now, there was no Dijak. He wasn't there. Now, out of the entire match, there was only one person I really felt that should win. And that's Tyler Bates. Tyler's always felt like he could do something, but I never felt like he is important enough to do anything because they never really push him much. They don't. Yeah, he's been a part of other storylines, but he's never had one of his own. Not lately. That has been prominent, been important. So seeing he got the last spot in the Iron Survivor Challenge, I'm fine with. Now, I know I could talk about what happened beforehand when they showed the video package of the camera on Mello with Trick, and you see that the vid pack for a Lexis King talking about him being friends with Mello and Mello with a confrontation. I understand it. I'm not going to elaborate on it because I'm going to leave it and see what's going to happen at Deadline. Because something has to happen at the end of this year, going into the new one. Will we see finally something happen? Is it going to be Lexis King who's directly involved in this or not? Because it should culminate in Deadline. This is the last pay-per-view of the year, and they should do something with Mello, Trick, as well as Lexis King. So I'm leaving it at that. This was a good match. I liked it, and it was a Tyler Bates who won it. Hopefully he's not just a body. I wouldn't mind seeing him go against Dragunov. Finally, the best part of the show. The best part. I know you're going to be surprised that Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov were the closing and the best part of the show. You know why? Because it was real. Guys, understand, Ilya originally came from Russia. Moved to Germany when he was a little kid, and has been living in Germany ever since. He has made it very clear, my wife, my child, well, not saying, I think his girlfriend or his wife. I don't know if that's his wife. The only thing he ever talks about is his kid. But if that's his girlfriend or his wife, they're not in America. They're still in Germany. They're still living in Germany. He goes back and forth visiting. He stays in America. As far as I know, they're not here. Unless I'm wrong, and that's just part of the storyline. As far as I know, they legitimately still live in Germany. And that's what makes this important. Because Baron Corbin is not lying. He's making it very clear. Look, you have sacrificed everything for your family. You don't want to bring them here. So who are you lying to? You're acting just like your father. Now, let's make this clear. And I'm not taking anything away from parents who literally have to live in another country to give a better life for the kids. I understand it. I've met, look, in my life, when I used to work in a nursing home, I actually worked in 2 different nursing homes over the years I used to work. I met people from Ghana. I met people from Canada. I met people from Panama, from Barbados, from Jamaica, from St. Matthew, I believe. I forgot the name of the island. But I have met many people, and some of them had to leave their families behind because they could not afford it. And they didn't want to drag them from their lives and change everything. They're just willing to do whatever is necessary to take care of them. There's many people that have been like that. And I'm not taking anything from them. They're sacrificing a lot to give their kids, their wife, and the rest of their family a better life. I know people from the Philippines. I know multiple friends who are Filipino, who a few of them are living here, and the majority of them are staying home, living a life, in some cases, luxury because of what their family is doing here. So I understand it. But guess what? Baron Corbin was lying. He said, you sacrificing everything, but you're staying alone for what? For the glory of it? The sacrifice? You don't have to do that. Just bring your damn family here. I'll help you. And he's actually acting like, I'm trying to tell you to care about your family. That's how it sounded. Now, of course, he's exaggerating a lot. Like I said, no one takes anything away from someone who's willing to sacrifice his time with his family because he loves his family. He makes sure he speaks to his family, but he's just not there all the time. People in Japan do that. People in Europe do that. People in China, a lot of them do that. So it's nothing from it, but he's trying to use it as a bad guy tactic to piss off Dragunov, and that's what we got. He kept pissing off Dragunov and pissing him off and pissing him off until finally Dragunov rips off his clothes. Baron Corbin's telling him, you want to take me out? Go ahead. He sets up a table in the corner of the ring, waiting to get nailed, and Dragunov turns him around. Instead of attacking him, he grabs him and hugs him, and he says, the only one that can destroy the Red Dragon is the Red Dragon. You will find that out at Deadline. And Baron Corbin was waiting for him to try and destroy him, so he think he would get an advantage and mess with him, but he held back. And then, just like the last two times, the women had their fight, now the men had their fight in the ring, where Dragunov and Baron Corbin had to leave. This was the best build I've seen from NXT in a while. 3.0, let's make this clear. This is not a 1.0 build. This is not a 2.0 build. This is a 3.0 build of NXT. The third iteration of it, the one that Shawn Michaels generally has control of. And I'm telling you again, this is not the best booking. It is just basic booking. Booking that is from the 80s and 90s and some of the Attitude Era. And what the original NXT, that Triple H, he took at least a tiny bit of that. Shawn Michaels, he's not doing all that Triple H is doing. He's doing it the way he wants to do it. He takes some things from what he learned from Vince and some things he learned from his friend. And he's taking what he really believes is right from his own experience as a pro wrestler who's the best that's ever been known. Bob's your uncle. That's NXT 3.0. I'm not telling you it's all perfect. It's not. I'm not even going to talk about Tank and Hank wanting to go up against Gallus. That makes no damn sense. There's no story behind it. It's just a match. I'm just saying that. Oh, and Alva Rain now is the errand girl of... so she's not wrestling anymore. At least for the moment. Alva Rain is not wrestling. The only thing she's doing is being an errand girl for Shawn Michaels. Making matches for people or telling Shawn Michaels, this is the match it's got to do. That's all she's doing now. I'm not going to tell you that's the best thing unless she's injured or they just don't know what to do with her. But I'm telling you, at this point, I'm saying it. This is basic booking, but it's good basic booking. Unboxing here because I'm like trying not to make it seem like I'm hyped for the thing more than I was hyped for AEW, Impact Wrestling, or the other WWE parts of it. It's good booking. I like it, but it's basic. And some people are going to hate it because I know JD's not going to like it completely. He's going to think it's all trash. So it's just Alex. But they're not seeing it objectively. I got to make this clear. As someone who's been doing it not as long as them. Of course, I'm not doing as long as just Alex. I'm not doing as long. Maybe I'm longer than JD. I've been doing it longer than him. And not doing as long as just Alex. Just Alex is here. JD's here. I'm somewhere here. And I'm not saying my opinion is perfect. It's not. A lot of times I mess up. But both of them are acting. And they're not 100% being that objective. That's mostly due to the fact they're not watching the product on a constant basis. I don't believe JD's watching NXT every single night on Tuesday. And just Alex, I don't even know if he even watches. I don't think he does. But they really don't care that much for NXT and the changes that have been done by Shawn Michaels. They think it's still Vince, and it's not. There's a distinct difference between Vince's booking and Shawn's booking. Trust me, I've seen it. I even have a huge catalog of videos from 2019 when it was switched to 2.0 till now. You can tell. I can see the differences. But this is just me. Peace.